Welcome to my future-proof podcast again. And today I'm having this one with Corsin Decurtins. Hello, Corsin.
Hi, Carsten.
Hey, Corsin, what are we going to talk about today?
We'll talk about AI in the software development lifecycle, specifically for banking and financial institutions.
And we are going deeper, I understand. We're going to look at efficiency gains, but also at new values created with AI.
Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to it. Thank you. Welcome to my future-proof podcast. Today I'm here with Corsin Decurtins. Corsin, welcome again to Future-Proof.
Thanks for having me.
You are here the second time. You are the CTO of G+D Netcetera. And last time we talked a lot about software development processes and what we have learned in the last 20 years.
Yeah, I remember.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a good talk.
Now today we're going to deep dive into AI because AI is substantially changing the way we create software in the future.
Absolutely.
And I think we're going to touch a couple of things here. How we create new value propositions that we could not do before, but also what kind of efficiencies can we gain from software development with AI, right?
Yeah, we'll cover that.
Okay. So let me come then to the first question. And that is related to legacy system we today find in financial service industries, sometimes 50 or 60 years old, and the need to transform them into new technology. Is AI the solution to do this now quicker, automated, and in real time?
AI can certainly help there, but I mean, the idea that you just throw it at an AI model and out comes the result exactly what you wanted, that's definitely not realistic. Not today. I think we're moving a bit in this direction, but we're definitely not there yet. And I think it's actually two problems with it. You mentioned the technology that needs to be replaced. AI can definitely help there. But legacy systems also have the tendency that they are an aggregation of all the requirements that came in bit by bit over decades. And that resulted in a certain design of the solution, which is not what we need today. So if you just take the old system and put it on a new technical basis, you still have the old legacy built in, and you don't want that. So we need to renovate that in a much different way. And AI can help there, but it still needs a lot of human interaction and involvement as well.
And I think we know from experiences, this legacy transformations can last years. And you have enormous amount of effort to do this. And you want, of course, as you mentioned, flexibility. So where specifically can AI help then?
I think AI can help throughout the whole process there. But when we start at the beginning with legacy systems, first, the big problem is to figure out what the system is actually doing. Forget about what it's supposed to do, just figuring out what it's doing. Because the people who built it are no longer around. They left the company, they retired. Documentation, if you're lucky, it's outdated. If not, it's not even there. It has never existed. Requirements don't exist. So figuring out what the system is doing, that's actually the first problem that teams face when they tackle this problem. And AI can help there, can help us to analyze these code bases, documentation that might be around, and try to figure out what the system is actually doing.
So very practically, from what I understand here, in the analysis phase, in the documentation, if we go further, many of these systems are mission critical for financial service industry. Could be processing payments, could be wealth management solutions, right? Now, where do you see here we can build something with AI, but still keep the security standards intact that are required by the systems? I think that is a very critical question.
Yeah, I think for us, the big topic there is to still have humans in the loop. They have the experience and they have to steer these processes. AI can help, but you cannot give over full control on AI because the current systems still produce code, for example, that includes vulnerabilities. There are various studies who show that. So there's still a development step there necessary to get these systems to produce really highly reliable and secure code. And at the moment, and I think that will stay with us for a long time, you still need the expertise of people, of humans, together with the tools to make sure that we don't have vulnerabilities in the code, that it's efficient, it's doing what the business actually needs. So this supervision, that's still something we need and we aim for.
So the need for people intervention and governance is also important, you mentioned. There's still, I think, with every new technology comes this idea, okay, there's a speed advantage now.
Yeah.
How do you react to this implicit expectation? Now everything will be faster.
I think this will happen. I mean, it has happened with all the technical develops in the IT area of the last 40, 50 years. We've become faster. We moved up to higher levels of abstraction because we have more tools that take care of the nitty-gritty, the routine, the boilerplate. But still, essentially, what we're doing is the same thing as software developers. We take technology and try to generate a value for a business user. And we will continue to do that. The tools might look different. The whole software development process might shift because things become relatively less expensive or more expensive. So we focus on different parts. But in the end, we are still doing the same thing, making technology valuable to the users.
Right. Okay, so there is a future for legacy systems?
No, we want to get rid of them.
Well, yeah.
So, yeah,
future in the sense of...
yes, I mean, the
Yes.
functionality does not disappear. It's just the solutions that we have. We still want to pay, or actually we have to, we don't want to. But the need for all these systems are there. And we need more flexibility and more speed because the development cycles become faster and faster. And a system that is 30, 40 years old, that you can't do anything with that. Even something that is 5 years old might be outdated and problematic.
I was just about to say that here you have an interesting point, because I was starting the discussion with 40, 50-year-old business solutions.
Yeah.
But even a 10-year-old can be outdated, needs renovation. And here also I think AI can be of help, no?
Absolutely. Legacy just means that you are not able to cope with the systems anymore. Changes become too expensive. That can happen after 5 years, depending on the area that you are in. And there AI can definitely help. But we also need to change the way we develop software a bit more and moving maybe more into leveraging and taking requirements and descriptions of the system to become a first-class citizen. We used to have this, first we figure out what to do and then the software developers write the code and that's it. But now these requirements, the descriptions of the system, constraints, standards, APIs you need to program around, that becomes really valuable. And because a lot of it is text, it becomes accessible by today's AI. And that changes really the paradigm of software development and how we will do this in the future.
That was an interesting topic, Corsin. Let's park it for now because we come back later. And switch to the second one I wanted to ask you, the topic of AI in general. And whenever I hear I hear also disruption. In two ways. Cost efficiencies at scale. And the other topic is always we can develop new value, new solutions that were not thinkable before we had this technology. Let's maybe start with the first one, the efficiencies. Would you have a concrete example that you see currently in the financial service industry, how to drive efficiencies through AI?
I mean, one example is analyzing large collections of documents. That's something that AI is really good at. The systems were built for that. It's something that is very time consuming. If people have to do that, you have to read a lot of documents, make the connections, summarize it, and so on. And AI can help there a lot. And this can be descriptions of requirements or legal aspects of the business that you need to comply with. So AI can help there, absolutely, and make this task easier for the people involved.
And are we looking at Netcetera also in special use cases in financial service industries that are specific especially to them, where AI can help?
Regulations is a big topic there. This is still changing quite a bit and has an effect on the systems, the legacy systems that you have running. You need to change them and update them to comply with these regulations. But also technical foundations, financial institutions are usually very big. They have a very big IT landscape that is constantly evolving. You decommission old technologies, bring in new technologies, change standards and APIs. And a lot of teams within these large organizations need to constantly update their components based on this stream of information and of changes that are coming from the organization.
And a lot of these topics that you mentioned are really related to internal processes and procedures in a financial service institution.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's where the most gain is probably to be taken, right? In many ways.
In this efficiency part, yes. I mean, I look at it from the software development lens, so that's applying it to the stuff that we do. But of course, the products that we build is the tools that other parts of the financial industry use, the consultants, the people who are in touch with end users, customers, investors, and so on. And of course, there we can also have built-in efficiency gains for these people.
Mm-hmm. That leads to an almost philosophical question is, from a software development perspective, can you do now more with less people in the future? Or will the value proposition that you create or the job description that you have for a software developer change now with these tools at hand?
I mean, if we look at the past, the description of what software developers and software engineers do will change. Also looking at the past, basically you could summarize it with you can do a lot more with even more people. Mm-hmm. So software is not, we're not at the end there. This is continuing and it has grown and grown over the years. And this will also continue to do even when we have better tools. Mm-hmm. We need a lot of experts in these fields.
Yeah. I recently read a new proof of concept that we do with a company where we can do the IT change management in the company 50% faster because we now have AI tools that analyze the change, the procedures, the effects it has on other software development topics, and then we generate a solution that is requiring much less human effort to do the change.
That's a great example. Yeah. For this, it's text input. AI tools can help you there and really get a lot of efficiency gain with this. But don't underestimate the quality gain that you might also have. If something is tedious and expensive, we tend not to do it that thoroughly. If we can improve this and automate it, you might, in addition to saving money, also increase the quality of these processes at the same time.
And I think what people also forget is, so okay, from a business perspective, if you're not really into software development, you think, okay, I have savings, wonderful. But I think it's underestimating that there's also a learning curve, right, within an organization when you want to go into this AI shift.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, AI is a new technology and it's not something that is completely intuitive and that you know from the start how to use it, how to leverage it properly, and also where the dangers are. So there is a learning curve and everybody needs to be aware of this. At the beginning, you will probably be less efficient because you do your job with the new tools, but you're still learning and try to figure out how to use them properly. So this takes a bit of time until you actually start to see the efficiency gains.
Exactly. And that will be costly also.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so that's more the efficiency side we talked about. What about the value side? What can we now produce that we were not able to do before? What would you see there?
That's much, much harder because, I mean, tweaking and tuning and optimizing steps out, that's relatively straightforward, what you can do there. But rethinking the way we do things completely, that's much, much harder because you're not walking down a trodden path. You have to go in a completely new way. And that's tough to find good examples there. And that's something we look at as a software company together with our customers all the time and try to find something that is truly disruptive.
So I heard, for example, a very interesting example from a different industry, the car industry. So if you, from the inception of a new car until you have it ready for production, the usual time effort is 5 years. And with some tools, it was BMW or others were able to do this even now in 4.5 years. Now I heard also of Chinese companies who have shortened it to 9 months. For example, because crash tests are now done with AI tools and not physically anymore and things like this. So this is a complete paradigm shift of thinking also how a full process looks like. And I wonder if we get to the same thinking in the banking industry.
I think we're getting there. We still have to figure out good places how we can do this. But I mean, this example is a good one, that you automate things, especially things that were hard to automate because they are not based on structured data and structured input, human interaction, things like that. If we can automate that based on AI systems, that would really help to speed up the whole development process. Mm-hmm. Integration is another example. I mean, most of the systems that we build have interactions with a lot of other systems, and AI can definitely also help there to speed up these processes. One thing that I love is forms. No, I actually don't. I hate them. But filling out forms, that's something that you do quite a lot in the business. Even as an end consumer, you have to provide this input. It's much, much easier to just talk to a system in a human language and provide the information like that. That makes it much easier for the end consumers to understand. And it's not a new idea. We had this for a long time, but now the technology has caught up that we can build systems like that, where you can just have an interaction, a chat with a system.
Right. Or systems that help me in my grocery shopping. I saw, for example, we are doing this, right?
Yeah.
Or analyzing my spending habits and giving me advice how to be better in the future.
Exactly. Analyzing data and really also tailoring this analysis to your specific needs. That was the big problem. I mean, analysis that has existed for some time, but really tailoring to what you need, to the specific situation that you're in and what information you need there. This is something that AI can help.
Which is the ultimate value proposition of a financial service institution, to really know you and give you the best advice for your future development.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Okay, let's close this one here, this second topic, and let's go now again maybe to the legacy systems we talked on, but we want to go now into the future. Because I'm wondering, with this new technology, will we still have legacy systems in the future? Or can we build something that will never become legacy again?
I think that's the natural tendency, that things become outdated. The complexity of systems grows and grows if you do not do something to clean this up. But I think we need to up the game there, and because building a system, living with it for a long time and then replacing it, this is not going to work anymore in a world, in a society that changes quicker and quicker and quicker. And you cannot afford to rebuild your e-banking system or whatever you have every 2 years. That's just not working. So we need to change the way we develop software in order to support these ever quicker business cycles, I would say, cycles of requirements and so on.
And when you talk to banks today, or to technical people in the banks especially, what kind of advice would you give them, where to start? Because I think that's not an easy one.
No, it's not. I think the obvious one is cleaning up the legacy that you have. If you start with a system that is 2-3 years old, that's a completely different position than starting with something that is 40-50 years old. So you need to catch up there, and you need to be aware of this. Software is not something that you do and then it's there and you live with it. It's a constantly evolving, living and breathing organism that you need to take care of consistently.
And are there also some principles, architecture principles or other things that are changing in order to enable this development?
I hinted a bit on that we move a bit forward or left in the value chain to the requirements, and specifically how we manage requirements. As I said, in software development, it was always, I talk to you as my customer, try to figure out what you want, I write it down, and then the team is implementing it. And after that, the requirements are there, they are verified with tests, and we can forget about them. But I think now this becomes really, really valuable, because maybe we want to re-implement the code, generate it, maybe vibe coding is really something that works in a couple of years reliably. But then we still need these requirements. We need to capture what did you want, why did you want it, is something obsolete because you changed your mind or regulations changed, the user behavior changed. So we need to go back to this and really work on the requirements. And the good news is this was really, really hard because it's text usually. And now with large language models and Gen AI, we have efficient tools to work with this text, to change it, to analyze it, to generate it, etc.
And we have the repository in the tools, so we don't need to read it with human interaction all the time again.
No, and we bring it along together with the code, with the implementation, with tests, with test data, and the requirements are also all part of this package.
I really wonder what the banking landscape, and especially how banking is done internally, software development, product design, and all these things that we currently do, will look like in 10 years from now. What do you think?
I think that software teams will go much, much closer to the business and really work together with the business even more than we do now, a bit of a paradigm shift, and that we can, let AI systems and other tools take care of much more technical details than we can let them take care of today. And we can focus together with the business on really creating systems that brings value to the business and to their end users.
So a move of the people today towards the customer, the clients, the value that's generated, and also to the purpose the bank is actually living for.
Exactly, because as software developers, that doesn't have an existence on itself. We serve the customers, and we have to build the systems that support their business and their end users.
Very good. Well, thank you so much, Corsin. Now, usually I ask some questions on personal topics at this point of the podcast. Last time I asked you what makes you tick, but this time I want to ask you a different question. How do you personally use AI at home? Is there any special things that you like to do with the tools that are now available?
I don't think it's anything special. I use the chatbots. I try to make the systems help me take care of really tedious tasks, searching, figuring out information. So I'm quite conventional there in terms of using of the new technologies, I think.
Okay, very good. Hey, that was really cool. Thank you really for being here and sharing your insights on AI and software development and the financial service industry.
Yeah, I look forward to the next time.
Well, maybe there will be a third one. Let's see. Thanks again for watching. Please like and subscribe this podcast and also give feedback if you wish. And I'm really looking forward to meeting you again next time on Future Proof. Take care. Hey, Corsin, good morning.
Carsten, good morning.
Hey, how are you? Did you walk your dog already?
Of course.
Great. Hey, let's record a podcast today on AI, shall we?
Let's do it.
Let's go.